Okay, so welcome to the Team Minicom on the air test. This week we've got Richard, one of the other engineers who does some work here from time to time. We had Mark last week with the Albrecht, and he's in a different vehicle. He's in his own car, and he has a drilled into the roof aerial, which is a quarter wave modulator with the base loading coil. He's using a Midland 78 multi radio, and hopefully he's at Scratchy Corner, which is about 6.5 miles away, behind some farm buildings, the wrong side of two hills. And that's to simulate being further away than he really is. It's a very poor direction. We're quite clear. Okay, Mr. Chippie, yeah, that's fine. If you'd like to drive back towards me and give me a call when you get to the Wilsford level crossing, please. Right, well there he is. He just reported in from that point, which we call Scratchy Corner, and that's very good, I have to admit. Incidentally, it's Sunday the 14th of February 2016. The temperature outside is 2 degrees, and where he's driven to, he says it's started to snow. So he'll soon be back here, and we'll see what it's like. So he's on a Midland 78, which is a multi-norm current model. And to be honest, it's working exactly the same as it was with Mark last week. Mark has a full-length Springer on his car, but whereas Richard's is drilled into the roof, Mark's, which you heard last week, he has one of these hatchback mounts. Tango 21, Mr. Chippie, how are you doing over? There we go. So he's now between the Rawsby level crossing and the Wilsford level crossing. He's at the Kelby junction, so he's now about 5 miles away. He's still the wrong side of two hills. I could send him 28 miles the other way in a clear direction and we'd get the same results, but it would cost us more in petrol to do the tests. So that's why I send him in a very poor direction, so that it simulates the radio being further away. However, we are in a rural area and there isn't much other radio traffic. We're situated near Ancaster, between Sleaford and Grantham. Yeah, Tango 21, receiving you loud and clear. That's fine. If you'd like to give me a call when you're coming up the hill from Wilsford, please, over. Yes, you may as well. That'll be the dip of the hill. Yeah, that'll be excellent. Thank you. Yes, so it says going to call me at the bottom of the hill, which, as you'll all know, the radio signals kind of go over a hill, and so the bottom of a hill is usually in a bit of a shadow. So that'll be an interesting test. I've got the squelch on this at 0.7. We can move that 0.4567, and we haven't had to lower that squelch at any point on the test, which is good so far. I've got the RF gain not switched in, or we would lose him. We're on UK FM, and as you can see it's on channel 31. Right, well, roger on that. At the end of the day it is a 30 as well, so you won't be held up that much. Perhaps he's got the dinners on board for the prison. He gets centrifuged to cream buns. Well, I have to admit I haven't had to lower the squelch. When you were at Scratchy Corner, which is where you were, where that lay-by is near Rawsby, Mark was a worse signal. So I think the fact your aerial's drilled into the car is actually working better than it does on his car. Over.
Roger. Now at the top of the hill near Goldhopestone. Over.
Absolutely fine, yes. So you come down the hill towards Ancaster, we've got the petrol station on the left, and if you'd like to give me a call from there, and then you're only about a mile and a quarter away.
Roger that.
It's currently about 3 miles away. It's the wrong side of Ancaster, and there's just a small hill now in the way. If that had an S meter, it'd probably be showing S9. For those of you who always dreamt of living in the middle of nowhere, we're half a mile from the nearest neighbour. There's no gas here, there's no mains drains here on a septic tank. There's no mobile telephone coverage, and there's no television reception. And I find that's ideal. Television licensing people keep threatening to come and see me. I'd love them to come. If they could find a television signal here and a television, they'd be doing very well. For those of you not in the UK you have to pay £148 a year for the privilege.
Mr. Chippie, just passing Ancaster service station. Over.
Loud and clear, and if you'd just like to call me as you come down the lane, please. And for the privilege of watching television, that's how the BBC is funded. Of course, you can choose not to have a television, or you can be in an area like we are where there isn't television reception. I'm certainly not prepared to have satellite TV. I don't want about 500 channels of rubbish.
Just passing Woodland Waters on my right.
Thank you very much. Right, I'll see you back at Tango Towers. Thank you.
Roger.
That concludes the test. That's him at the top of the road. He's now about 3/4 of a mile away. So yeah, that worked very well, and it wasn't a fair test because it's a slightly different setup to what Mark had last week with the Albrecht and the CRT One, and it does go to show actually that Mark's car doesn't quite work as well, and of course the secret there is that Richard today has got a drilled into the middle of the roof aerial, whereas Mark's is on a mount, and that is the difference. That's an interesting little test. Anyway, that works very well. Thank you for watching the Team Minicom on the air test.